Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a strategy that can absolutely transform your American Express card. We're talking about taking a solo piece of plastic and turning it into a shared financial powerhouse. So, if you've ever wondered exactly how to safely extend your credit privileges to a family member without, completely losing your mind with worry, you are definitely in the right place.
But right off the bat, did you know that you can actually start building a child's credit history when they're still in middle school? It's crazy, but it's completely true. At just 13 years old, they can legitimately become an authorized user on your American Express account.
And here's a second equally surprising number for you. 0. Yep, $0. Because by adding up to 5 authorized users on an Amex Gold card, you pay absolutely 0 in extra annual fees. It's this incredibly clever financial move that can easily save a family over $1,000 in comparable annual fees if everyone were to just go out and get separate cards.
Okay, let's take a quick look at the agenda. We are covering 1. The advantage, 2. Eligibility, 3. Setup steps, 4. Fees, 5. Credit insecurity, and finally, 6. The summary. Let's get to it.
Starting right off with Section 1, the advantage, or why add a user in the first place.
Just to make sure we're all on the exact same page, let's establish a clear baseline. An authorized user is simply someone who gets issued a physical credit card with their own name printed on it, but it's linked directly to your primary credit card account. They get all the convenience of making purchases, right? But the primary cardholder, and that's you, remains 100% financially responsible for actually paying the bill.
But when you use it correctly, this is the ultimate win-win scenario. Basically, as the primary cardholder, every single purchase your authorized user makes funnels rewards points straight back to your account. So you are racking up those bonuses much, much faster. And for the authorized user, well, it helps them build a really strong credit footprint because American Express actually reports that positive payment history to the major credit bureaus. Plus, they get the independence of carrying a card in their own name, and they can even set up their own independent app login to track their spending.
Moving right along to Section 2, eligibility. Who actually qualifies for this?
Because Amex does have some pretty strict underwriting rules, and not just anyone gets a golden ticket to your credit line. First off, for U.S. consumer cards, the minimum age is 13. Now, for international cards, say those issued in the UK or Saudi Arabia, that age gate jumps up to 16. The applicant also has to have a clean past with Amex. If they've ever had a defaulted American Express account, they're completely disqualified. And naturally, it goes without saying, they cannot already be the primary cardholder on this specific account.
Now here's the detail you really don't want to miss. The 60-day deadline. When you first apply to add a user, American Express actually lets you submit the application without providing their social security number right then and there. However, if you don't provide that SSN within 60 days of the application, Amex will literally just deactivate the new card. So you absolutely have to follow through with this step to keep the card active and, more importantly, to ensure it actually reports to those credit bureaus.
Up next is Section 3, Setup Steps. Here is exactly how to add a user. Honestly, navigating the digital dashboard on the Amex website is incredibly intuitive. It's super simple. First, you'll log into your online account and just click on the Account Services tab right at the top of your dashboard. Next, look over to the left side menu and click Manage Other Users, and then follow that up by clicking Add Someone to Account. It'll ask you to enter their basic info, name, date of birth, and that SSN we talked about, and then you just hit Submit. Boom. That instantly initiates Amex's real-time credit and risk screening.
So what does the timeline look like from the moment you hit that Submit button to actually holding the card in your hand? Well, once that real-time screening clears, it typically takes just 7 to 10 business days for the physical card to show up in your mailbox. Once it gets there, you just activate it right through the app, and your new user is completely ready to start spending.
All right, let's transition into Section 4, fees and costs. What will you actually pay?
Because while adding users is a fantastic perk, we have to talk about the financial reality here. It isn't always free on the premium cards. Notice how drastically the fees vary depending on your card's tier. For a lot of the standard cards, it's totally free. For the Amex Gold, the first 5 users cost you $0, and then it's $35 each after that. But take a look at those premium travel cards. Adding users to the Amex Platinum will run you somewhere between $175 and $195 annually depending on your plan. And for the Business Platinum, that is a steep $300 per additional user. That's largely because those authorized users are getting access to high-end premium benefits, like the airport lounges.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the hidden value of the Amex Gold Card that we teased right at the start of this explainer. Think about it. If you have a family of 5, having 5 completely separate gold cards would mean paying that annual fee 5 times. You're looking at well over $1,000. But by simply using the 5 free authorized users perk on one single primary account, you share the purchasing power and you consolidate all those rewards points for a tiny fraction of the cost. It's a real game changer.
Now we arrive at Section 5, Credit and Security, Managing the Risks. This is arguably the most critical part of everything we're discussing today, because you really need to understand how to protect yourself. Let's directly compare the two roles so there is absolutely zero confusion. As the primary cardholder, you hold all the financial risk, full stop. But you also hold the control over the spending limits. The authorized user, on the other hand, they get the fun part. They get to make the purchases and reap the rewards of building a credit history based entirely on your good payment habits.
Just to really ground us in reality for a second, listen to this soberingly clear quote directly from the American Express Terms and Conditions. It says, "You are responsible for the activity and use of your account. You must pay for all charges they make." So, yeah, there is no, "Hey, they promised to pay me back" clause here. The bank is looking solely at you to clear that balance every single month.
Now, if that makes you a little nervous, I completely get it, but I have some really great news. American Express uniquely allows you to set a hard monthly spending limit on your additional users, and you can actually set it as low as $200. This is an absolutely incredible tool for risk management. It gives you total peace of mind. You can hand a card to your teenagers so they can buy gas and lunch, knowing for a fact that they physically cannot blow up your monthly budget.
But there is a hidden danger here that a lot of people totally miss, and it's called shared debt utilization. When Amex reports to those 3 major credit bureaus, the total outstanding balance of your primary account is added directly to the credit file of the authorized user. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means if you run a really high balance relative to your limit, it could negatively impact the authorized user's credit utilization ratio. You could actually end up damaging the very credit score you were trying so hard to help them build.
All right, let's wrap things up with Section 6, Summary and Final Tips. First off, a super important reminder. This explainer is strictly for general educational purposes. It's not personalized financial advice. Because shared credit impacts both of your financial profiles so deeply, we always highly recommend consulting with a certified financial advisor just to make sure adding an authorized user actually aligns with your specific financial situation and your goals.
Adding an authorized user to your Amex is just an incredible way to harvest more rewards, share some awesome premium benefits, and give your kids or your loved ones a massive head start on building their credit profile. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to trust. So the question is, are you ready to share your credit power, or is the ultimate financial liability just too high a price to pay? That's a decision only you can make. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.